sometimes you just got to throw up some crooked numbers, and they did. They had 3 2-run innings in game 1. They had a 3-run inning here. And it got the offense rolled. It got them some confidence. And again, playing Colorado Rockies will give you some confidence. One Royal way back at it here on Kansas City Sports Network. I'm Joel Penfield. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure you're subscribed on all platforms, video and audio. Hit those notification bells so you know when our episodes go up. We're on a hot streak right now. The Royals won 4 in a row. They swept the Colorado Rockies. Houston coming into town this weekend. Boys are back playing some ball. There's getting the ship righted a little bit, which is what we need to see as this team continues to go as we're heading toward May. We got both games of the doubleheader to talk about today, and then we'll have a little preview of the series against the Houston Astros coming up here at the end. Before we do that, the show, as always, brought to you by Emprise Bank. Remember, FDIC, our partners impossible here at Kansas City Sports Network. We can't thank them enough for their support of this show and everything we do at KCSN. Thank you and I'm just going to say thank you in advance if you are listening to this through the smoke and fog of the NFL draft to still pay attention to this show. I do appreciate that. All right. The Royals win game 1 of the doubleheader 7-4. A little bit of an inauspicious start. It was not a pretty start for Cole Reagans, obviously, and we'll get into his injury a little bit, but gives up a single early, 1-0. And then gives up 2 home runs in the second and third, one to Jordan Beck, who had 3 home runs on the day between the 2 games on Hunter Goodman, and it's 4-2. And Cole Reagans gave up 8 runs in the previous 4 innings that he pitched between the end of his start in Detroit and this start. And his ERA ballooned from mid 3s, 4.4 now. And he left the Royals. He left after 3 innings, and they said it was groin tightness, which makes some sense. A lower body injury. The velo was down. The secondaries weren't there. And it's not like the velo was down a ton. It was like 90, 93, 94, but we've seen him up to 98, 99, at times this year. So velo's down a tick. The secondaries aren't there. The command is kind of off. And when he was in the zone, it was like middle. So it is obviously a concern, a significant concern. Hopefully it is a minor thing, and I don't know. They haven't announced if it's an IL stint or if it's going to be maybe just he misses a start, or it could be just fine. But that's the second time this year the Cole Reagans has either left a start, or if it has been reported after that it's a lower body soft tissue injury. He had some cramping in his leg during his start in Cleveland a couple weeks ago. Now that start was great, but that's the second time already. And it's not even hot yet. Like that, when it's hot and that happens, that makes some sense. But for it to happen now, it raises some alarm bells. So hopefully Cole's going to be all right. And, if he has to miss a start, he has to miss a start. But I just don't want this to be something that lingers for too long. And this team is starting to get things figured out, but they need Cole and they need these other guys in the rotation to keep things rolling as the offense gets things sorted. Speaking of the offense, we've hammered home about how poor the offense is, especially situationally throughout these games. Today, in that first game, 7 for 20 with runners in scoring position, and Salvi came through early, 2-run double in the first after Garcia gets on with the double. Bobby gets hit by a pitch, 2-run score after Salvi shoots one down the line. First of 4 doubles on the day for Salvador Perez. Kevin Biggio, he gets on. Michael Massey came through and he gets a hit. Kyle Isbell had 2 hits and 3 RBIs. Huge one with the bases loaded in the 5th inning. The bases loaded in the 5th, and he hits a ball about 103 off the bat. It hits off Michael Toley's glove, 2-run score. And at that point, it was tied 4-4. You're like, are they going to, is this going to be another opportunity wasted? And they come through with a 2-run lead, and they never look back after that. And then Isbell came up later. Tyler Tolbert's on third, and Isbell, and to his credit, even if I don't always love the play, it's a very throwback thing to be a guy that I'm going to drop down a ball with a runner on third, safety squeeze. Like that is a quality and a baseball trait that is pretty rare nowadays. So, but to his credit, he gets the bunt down. We saw him do it earlier this week as well. I love it. He did it in the game on Monday, actually. That's earlier this week. That's when it happened on Tuesday against Colorado. But it wasn't always the Bobbies that come through. It wasn't the Vinnies. It wasn't the Salvies. It was Michael Massey and Drew Waters and Kyle Isbell that help lead the charge. And this offense needs those guys every once in a while. It doesn't have to be all the time, but that is massive for this team to see those guys in that capacity come through and just add something. And it does that way because it's not so wholly reliant on Vinny, Bobby, Salvi to be the only run producers. Having those guys, having Drew Waters be a spark plug for a couple weeks. Kyle Isbell every once in a while if he's able to make an impact. Hunter Renfroe today, to his credit, two hits and a walk, which, not going to expect that every night, but it's a welcome sight, especially in a game where Cole Reagans leaves in the third inning. You're like, God, you'd already given up 4. The offense has struggled 17 straight games coming into play on for game 1 without scoring more than 4. And they managed to do it today. And it helps playing Colorado. Certainly they're a bad baseball team. German Marquez left today, gave up 6 earnings. ERA is over 9 now. But sometimes that's what it takes. Playing bad teams sometimes gets you out of a slump, right? And I don't think the Royals are a bad team. And they did what you should do against bad teams. You take advantage of their mistakes and you find a way to win a game. And that's what they did today. Now, as I mentioned, Cole goes out in the third. You're in a doubleheader situation, and it is that's a rough spot to be, especially with some of the either lack of production or lack of trust in the bullpen in spots. Huge shout out. Angel Zerpa gives you 2 shutout innings in the 4th and the 5th. Only gives up 1 hit, walks 1, and that's it. Steven Cruz comes in and gets a strikeout, 2 scoreless. Ursig, he needs 7 pitches, and he's out of the 8th, and Estevez gets a couple of flyouts and a line drive, and he's out, and he gets the save, bounces back from the disaster on Tuesday with 3 straight walks and blowing the lead. He gets the save, his 6th on the year. To be able to go Johnny Hole, need to go Johnny Holstaff when Cole only gives you 3 for those who's good, and you're not having to it's not a true Johnny Holstaff where you're needing Schreiber and Lynch and Stratton and others to insist to cover some innings. Zerpa gives you 2, Cruz gives you 2, and then Ursig and Estevez make quick work in the 8th and 9th, and you're out there and you win a ball game and you saved a John Schreiber, Daniel Lynch, and Evan Sisk if they really needed to, and Ursig only threw 7 pitches, so he was available if they needed him in the nightcap, and thankfully they didn't. But it is a team win when they really needed it, and when it looked pretty dire there, as Cole only goes 3 innings, and hopefully that is not a long-term injury. But a lot to like from that game specifically. Obviously, the offense gets going, finally gets over the 4-run threshold, and you found a way to win a game when in most of their situations, I'm not sure they find a way to. Again, certainly helps playing the Colorado Rockies. We'll talk about game 2 and preview the weekend here. We'll go ahead and hit a break now right after this.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
Success in real estate takes more than vision. It takes the right financial partner. When someone takes something rundown and turns it into something great, that's called a comeback story, like Brain Group. They take distressed properties here in KC, completely rework them, and then turn them into valuable real estate. But that kind of work needs the right bank behind it. Enter Emprise Bank. They're not about cookie-cutter loans. They saw Brain Group's vision, backed them, and now they're making big moves in Kansas City real estate. Talk about your partner in possible. Emprise doesn't do one-size-fits-all financing. They invest in potential and back growth. Visit emprisebank.com/KC to learn more. Emprise Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Are you ready to win some real cash during the basketball playoffs? Well, check out Pick 6 from DraftKings. When it comes to basketball payouts, DraftKings Pick 6 posterizes the competition, and yeah, that includes prize picks. Hit all of your picks and score higher minimum payouts on Pick 6, plus even more cash if you outscore the competition. Pick 6 is available in most states, including Missouri, California, Texas, Georgia, and more. New players get 50 in Pick 6 credits instantly on just a $5 entry. Here's what you gotta do. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN for new customers to play $5, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offers. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
As I mentioned at the beginning, please make sure you are liking and subscribing on all platforms. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that button. It tells you if you're subscribed or not. And then there are notification bells. You can set up push notifications on your phone so you know when this goes up. If you download the app, just like in the ad there, you can set up notifications for when these shows go up. So appreciate all the support. This has obviously been a lot of fun for me to be able to do this multiple times a week, dive into these games individually, and I've enjoyed the heck out of it. Today's been a really good day. Obviously, the Royals winning both their games made the difference, but I'll talk a little bit more about what made today awesome at the end of this show. Game 2 rolls around, and Michael Lorenzen goes. The Royals win 6-2. Lorenzen gives you 6 innings, 7 strikeouts, only 1 earned run, a Jordan Beck home run in the 6th. But that's it. Lowered the ERA to 3.90. Scattered 5 hits, 4 walks. A couple of them were pretty questionable. Some very interesting, or I guess I'll say that. Yeah, interesting strike zone tonight from Bambolino. Regardless, another game where the offense gets it done. 3 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Only left 6 on base. Some of that was Chase Dollander. He limited some damage. The Rockies bullpen limited some damage late in this game. But they were able to chase Dollander in the 5th. He's a rookie with a big-time fastball, big-time stuff. Pitching in Colorado is hell, but he seems like the type of kid that's going to be able to, as he establishes himself, he could be a really, really good pitcher. He was a hell of a prospect when he came out of Tennessee and dominated the minor leagues, so there wasn't much left for him to do. And, he struck out 3, walked 2, big, showed fastballs up to 99. Top of the zone, got Bobby. It was a really good pitch. But today, again, in this one, the bottom of the order got it done in game 1. But in this one, Jonathan India with a double and a walk. Bobby gets another hit, extended his hitting streak, 16-game hitting streak, the highest, the longest hitting streak of his career. And he's had multiple 13, 14, 15 gamers. So we'll see how long he keeps this one going with Salvador Perez. Another 3-hit game, nearly at a home run, but it was 2 more doubles and 2 more RBIs. Massey with a sac fly. Drew Waters, I think he had an RBI ground out in this one. Just another game where you just feel like they're going to get going. And that seems to be the case here, which is exactly, what I've wanted to see. I didn't think it was, a situation where, man, how are they going to be able to handle this? Is this offense going to be like this all year? Sometimes you just got to throw up some crooked numbers, and they did. They had 3 2-run innings in game 1. They had a 3-run inning here. And it got the offense rolled. They got them some confidence. And again, playing Colorado Rockies will give you some confidence, just like what we saw when they played the White Sox last year. Like, you have to take advantage of these and make that your slump buster, your confidence builder. Maybe it's the rally belt. Salvi dives into second and busted his belt, and they hung it up in the dugout, and they're calling it the rally belt now, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's the name. I don't know. But said Josh was talking about them needing something like that. So hey, maybe that's the thing here. But another game where you're in a spot where they were pretty well in control of this one. And like I said, Lorenzen gave up the one. Daniel Lynch gave up another home run. Jordan Beck hit 2 home runs in this game. Both of them were moonshots. Schreiber get with 2 strikeouts, and he has not been a big strikeout guy since coming over to Kansas City. A good confidence builder for him on 9 pitches too. And Lynch closed out the last 2. No strikeouts, no walks for him there, but scattered 4 hits. Just they were up by enough. And that offense isn't going to threaten anything for the most part. So just, throw it over the plate, make them beat you. And other than Jordan Beck, Lynch did a pretty good job. And that's more the role that he's meant to serve. But I imagine we see him in some more leverage situations. But a good day of baseball and sorely needed for this team as they continue to kind of claw their way back from a really tough stretch of games and offensive funk. But you're only you're 3.5 back. You're climbing out of the run differential. It's -16 now because the offense was so poor. But they're 12-14 now. Only 2. I said 3.5 back at Detroit. You're still in the thick of it, and you're gonna be most of the year. Right? The White Sox are still bad, and Minnesota is hurt to hell and not that great. The rest of the division, the only team with a positive run differential in the AL Central right now is the Detroit Tigers. Cleveland's -5. The Royals are -16. Minnesota's -18, and White Sox are -30, which makes a lot of sense when you consider that's the exact standings for the AL Central. Run differential is not always indicative, but it's something. Moving on to the weekend, Houston is going to be coming to town. The Astros are 13-11 with a +11 run differential. Your pitching matchups are going to be, and I clicked on the wrong tab. There will be Seth Lugo versus Hayden Wisniewski on Friday. Saturday will be Walker versus Framber Valdez. Valdez might pose some problems for this team. And then it'll be Chris Bubich on Sunday versus Hunter Brown, who's got a ERA. Both pitchers, ERA sub-2, low sub-2 ERAs. That's going to be a pitching matchup that we like to see. I want to see, this is going to be a challenge. And Houston is not the same big, bad, bully team in the American League that we've seen over the past couple of years. But they still have guys with a ton of experience and a ton of talent. Altuve is still there. Even though he's struggling playing left field, still hit. Jordan has not quite gotten going yet, but we know how talented he is. And they're gonna pitch, and they're gonna find ways to win. That is even though a lot of that team has turned over, that pedigree is still there to some degree, I think, and we'll see what they're able to do. This is a challenge. It's a significant step up in competition from playing the 4-20 Colorado Rockies, who look like this year's version of the Chicago White Sox. So they cannot mess around like they did on Monday. And you're going to have to find a way to put up quicker numbers. You're going to have to find a way to, hit the runners in scoring position like they did today in both games, and see if you can steal a series here. This would be considered stealing. You have 3 solid pitchers on the mound in Lugo, Waka, and Bubich. I feel confident Bubich is going to be able to get it done on Sunday, and we'll see if, Lugo is able to pitch well like he did over the weekend, the Torkelson home run notwithstanding. And Waka had a really good start. Probably his best start of the year so far. That's the nice thing about this rotation is you feel like you're going to at least be in the game. It's up to the offense to be able to show up. And your best shots probably going to be against Wisniewski and maybe Valdez, but the Royals lineup against lefties has always been a little bit suspect. So we'll see how heavy they platoon it and how they handle that situation. And Hunter Brown's going to be tough. I don't think you're going to be able to put up a 9 spot on him like you did last year early on in the season. But having Chris Bubich on the mound is a great counter to that. And scratch across a couple, get it to Ursac and Estevez and go win a ball. I don't have much more to add here. It's getting kind of late, and I know that the NFL draft is taking up a lot of y'all's time, so I'm going to try and be quick with this, but I do appreciate everyone's support. Be sure, again, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It is time for Toast Game, brought to you by Holiday Distillery. I got some soft red wheat here, and it has been one fantastic Thursday. So a little heavy report tonight. Not going to drink all of it, obviously, on the show, but I'll start it here. I'll Toast Game to Salvador Perez for raise this season. Weighted runs created plus from 47 to 77 today with 4 doubles. The expected batting average and slug and some of those underlying numbers you see on Baseball Savant are all up in the deep red, and obviously his surface numbers have not been great. So we're seeing some of that even out, and hopefully this is where he gets hot, gets on one of those stretches, and this offense looks a hell of a lot different when he's putting together good plate appearances. I thought Vinny had a couple good ones today, despite some unfortunate results and some, he also mixed in a couple pretty bad at bats. But when he's taking pitches and when he's, focusing on just putting the ball in play situationally, it's a much different offense. But overall tonight, I want a Toast Game to just the game of baseball. Bear with me. I'll get a personal story here. So I have a 4-year-old son, and he's starting to get into baseball a little bit. He's not as obsessive about it as I was at that age, but he likes it and wants to pay attention. But he had his first T-ball game tonight, which was from the time I brought him home from the hospital. The time we were in the hospital when he was born. I've been looking forward to this day, and this is, as a dad and as someone that loves baseball, like, this is what I've been waiting for. And he had fun. T-ball for 4 and 5-year-olds is just organized chaos, but in the best way, because they're all out there having a good time and learning to play the game and all that, which made me happy. I had a smile on my face the whole time. My son runs off the field. Now is, basically herding the kids in the dugout to get them in the batting order and all that. He runs up to me after the game's over, and he just runs up and gives me a hug right away and said, "Dad, I love this. I love baseball. This is great." And I'm emotional thinking about it now. I was trying to fight back tears on the field as he said it. But that's why I love this game. Baseball has been my life and a driving force in my life, a steadying force in my life for 25 years now. And tonight was really, really cool. As a dad, as someone that loves baseball, it was pretty awesome. Yeah. Don't want to say much more because I'll cry. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Let me get on my soapbox there for a second. Talk to you all on Sunday night after the series against the Houston Astros. We'll recap that. And then we'll get into the week after and just keep this thing rolling. And hopefully we get another series win and the Royals are heading toward a 500 record or are pretty close to it. Getting their season turned around as we head as the calendar turns to May and we get closer to the quarter pole of the season. So it's been a lot of fun. I hope you all have a great rest of your night. Enjoy the NFL draft. Enjoy the baseball. Enjoy the NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup. There's a whole bunch of good sports on right now. It's a great time of year in this country. And cheers. We'll talk next week.